Have you ever been to Bloomington?
I don't think so.
It's the breaking away town. That's how your brother described it from the movie.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So
yeah, we spoke about that, and I don't know if he mentioned, but he's a cyclist, my brother.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well, this is going to be a good town for your music. I was listening to your latest album that's going to be out in September, 36 Cents. Love it. So I kind of wanted to start off, though, a little bit about your background with your family. You come from a family of 6, I was looking at. Your background is music. Music is in your blood.
Well, my parents were not musicians themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We like to say that my father was such a bad singer that when he'd sing lullabies, we'd pretend to be asleep. But there was a lot of music sort of in the house and around, and they were great appreciators of music.
Right.
And my mother kind of pounded the table a little bit harder with my brother. I think because I was the youngest of 6, when you have kids, you sort of start out, and sort of the first kid or the first couple that you say, well, let's get them music lessons and whatever, dancing lessons and all those kinds of things. And by the time you get to the 6th one, you're kind of like, yeah, whatever, do whatever you want.
Right.
So my brother had a lot more kind of training when he was young. He was playing the cello from the time he was a little boy. I loved music, but it was not something that I was really formally approaching, partly because I fell in love with acting when I was a kid.
Okay.
And but we would always sort of, get together and write some songs, and I was certainly influenced by him as a musician.
What made you finally decide 2 decades ago to say, hey, you know what, let's do this. Let's form our band and do it?
It was a really simple thing. We had been writing some songs for years that we kind of had the idea that somebody else would record them. So we had a demo of a few different songs, and I happened to play it, I guess, for my buddy Harry was from Philly, and he said, well, why don't you guys do a Bacon Brothers concert and I'll promote it. And he had a venue that he thought would be good for it, and so we just kind of did it as a one-off.
Yeah.
Neither one of us really had the idea, or at least I didn't, of having another kind of separate career.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like it was going to be fun, and I like challenges, so the idea of playing music in front of people was something that I hadn't ever done before, and I wanted to see if it was going to be, if I could do it, really.
Yeah.
And what happened was that it just kind of like one show turned into 2, turned into 3. You know what I mean? It wasn't even.
It just kind of started happening.
Yeah, it wasn't like we've always been sort of led around by the band as opposed to us making a big decision to have a separate career.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm assuming your brother was telling me separately that you do a lot of the writing, and I got to tell you, I was listening to some of the tracks off of 36 Cents, and it has that real blend of rock and gritty rock and just Americana type of thing, just really Midwest. Blue collar type, but it's got a lot of soul in it too. I don't know. I really like it. It's got that acoustic bass kind of thing that it's just going to fit in really well when you guys play here. But I like Hookers and Blow. I mean, man, that is just so catchy. I looked at the title and I'm like, I don't know, what is that going to be? Well, not what's that going to be about, but how's that going to sound? And it's very catchy, and really like that song.
Yeah, well, Mike. I kind of wrote that song. It was just really kind of going to be a goof.
Yeah.
I mean, it
just fun.
The answer, it's a silly answer to how was your weekend, and you say I say, well, the usual Hookers and Blow, meaning that that's exactly what I didn't do this weekend.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've written songs that are kind of with a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was writing the song, it just did not turn into a funny song.
Right.
It's kind of a sad, tale of a guy who's sort of desperate and unapologetic about this sort of awful life that he's living.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, I didn't actually even think that we were going to make it a Bacon Brothers song. I mean, I thought my brother would be too offended by it. And he's like, no, let's make the first track on the record. So
why not?
Yeah, why not? So people, it's kind of like, look, this is what this is what we're doing, and take it or leave it.
What does it feel like touring around with your sibling and being around him that often?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah, I mean, we get along really pretty well. I mean, we don't agree on everything when it comes to, there's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of things that I always say that if you pick up a menu,
mm-hmm.
I can always know what my brother's going to order because it's the last thing on the menu that I'm going to want.
Yeah. Right.
Even I don't know, all kinds of things, food and movies, and even music to a certain extent. We'll have a different sort of kind of opinion, but there's a fundamental similarity between us in the way that we approach the world. I think that makes it,
Well, and you've always got somebody you have each other's backs. That would be the cool thing about it.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you too. I put I put on Facebook that I'd be talking to you, and I just got my page blew up with just some really funny reactions and questions that they wanted me to ask, and I'm like, no, we're not going there. We're going to talk about the music. But I'm sure you get a lot of funny questions or people that ask you all sorts of questions. The meet and greet for for Thursday night is sold out. Have you had unusual questions asked to you, or are people focused on your music when they talk to you?
Nah, I mean, you can't really. I've never had this idea that we were going to put a band together and everybody was going to all of a sudden miraculously forget that I'm a movie actor.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an unrealistic expectation.
Okay.
So, and I'm also proud of the work that I've done as an actor. So
absolutely. And you're still doing it. I mean,
I am still doing it.
You got the following going on, right?
Yes, I am still doing it. Yeah, I mean, of course, there's always been unusual questions. That's part of the gig.
Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you're doing a lot of these interviews, and I so appreciate you taking the time to call us and talk to me about all this. But the big show is coming up on Thursday at Buskirk Chumley Theater. 8 o'clock. And again, the meet and greet is sold out, but there are tickets available, and we encourage lots of people to come out. It's going to be a fantastic show. And I want to thank you personally for years and years of enjoyment on the big screen and on the television. And looking forward to your 7th album coming out September 16th. It's called 36 Cents. You can find information about the Bacon Brothers. Guys, you guys are all over social media, Facebook, I think Twitter. Of course, there's a website and all that good stuff. So I'll be sharing information and YouTube videos and stuff like that on our social media too. So Kevin Bacon, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you Thursday night.
All the best.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.